I want you to think in the correct order. Act before friction, reflect before repetition, and never let productivity become a hiding place. Most people do not suffer from a complete lack of thought, they suffer from thinking at the wrong time. They spend the morning negotiating with actions they already know they need to take. You may say, should I get up now? Should I train today? What should I write? Am I ready to begin? Is this the right method? Should I research a little more first? Then, after spending the day reacting, consuming, talking, and reconsidering, you may reach the evening and refuse to think at all. You may scroll, you may watch, you may fill the room with noise. You may fall asleep without studying what the day revealed. You may think when you should move. You may then escape thought when you should reflect. That is the disorder. Thinking too much before action creates friction. Acting without reflection afterward creates repetition without correction. One prevents movement, the other prevents evolution. Thought and action need each other, but they need each other in the correct order. Something is directing you, even when you have no idea where you are going, something is still directing you. Your habits are directing you. Your environment is directing you. Your appetites are directing you. Your fears, memories, physical sensations, expectations, and repeated behaviors are directing you. Conscious intention is not the only force operating inside a human being. The body is constantly gathering information before the conscious mind turns that information to language. Your heart accelerates, your breathing changes, your muscles tighten, your stomach signals hunger, your energy rises or falls, your temperature shifts. You feel uneasy before you understand why. This internal sensing is commonly called interoception, the direction and interpretation of signals originating within the body. Research increasingly connects interoceptive processes to emotion and mental health, but the relationship is complicated. Different dimensions of interoception do not behave identically, and reviews have found that simple heartbeat perception tests do not consistently show impairment across anxiety and depression. In other words, the body-mind relationship matters, but the science should not be compressed into an easy slogan. A recent UCLA study used a ingestible vibrating capsule to examine gastrointestinal sensation in people whose weight had been restored after anorexia nervosa. Participants with anorexia were less accurate at detecting subtle stomach sensations, and some of those differences were associated with later relapse and symptom severity. The findings suggest that restoring the visible body may not immediately restore how internal signals are detected and interpreted. The larger lesson is not that every feeling is correct. It is that the body is always producing information. The serious person learns to notice a signal without automatically obeying it. A racing heart may be warning you. It may also be responding to caffeine, hunger, exhaustion, memory, embarrassment, anticipation, or an old fear entering a new situation. The body provides data. I like to say data. Judgment determines what the data means. An instinct is not magic, it is sensation, memory pattern, recognition, expectation, and experience working faster than conscious explanation. Sometimes instinct protects you. Sometimes it repeats a note boom. That is why awareness requires more than feeling. You must notice the signal, interpret it, test it against reality, then correct your interpretation when reality disagrees. I want you to, every day, train against ease. Every day, place yourself under chosen difficulty. Do something hard before comfort has time to negotiate with you. Hold your attention on one problem longer than your mind wants to remain there. Spend time staring into the distance, not to escape thought, but to think without receiving another person's thought. Make the first hour after waking produce the highest return possible. Write, train, study, build, pray, decide. The first hour is a vote for who will command the rest of the day. Walk with nothing but yourself. No music, no podcasts, no digital hand holding. Let silence return your own mind to you. You are training yourself to move without constant stimulation. You are teaching your attention to remain where you place it. You are teaching your mind to generate thought instead of merely consuming it, because ease is not neutral. What you repeatedly escape becomes harder to face. What you repeatedly face becomes part of your capacity. A mind trained only in comfort will search for relief when life demands command. Remember that. So practice difficulty before difficulty chooses you. Choose silence before noise owns you. Choose attention before the world rents it from you. The objective is not suffering for the sake of suffering. It is to become someone who can remain present, think clearly, and act deliberately under pressure. Every day, train against ease. Morning is for command. The beginning of the day should not be dominated by negotiation. You already spent yesterday collecting information. You already experienced consequences. You already had opportunities to notice what distracted you, what worked, what failed, and what needs to change. Morning is when you act on those conclusions. Get out of bed, drink the water, say the prayer, write the page, study the material, move the body, and begin the highest leverage task. Do not reopen every decision merely because a new day has begun. Constant reconsideration can disguise itself as intelligence. Sometimes it is only fear dressed in formal clothing. You do not need complete certainty before beginning. You need enough clarity to take the next responsible action. Movement will reveal information thought alone could never produce. You learn what the weight feels like by lifting it. You learn what the audience understands by publishing. You discover the weakness in your knowledge by testing it. You discover whether a system works by operating it. You discover who respects your time by establishing boundaries around it. You discover what you truly believe by observing what you repeatedly do. Thought forms the hypothesis. Movement creates the evidence. Reality reveals itself through contact. But movement can also become a drug. This is where the doctrine becomes more difficult here. Action is not always courage. Stillness is not always laziness. A person can remain constantly busy because movement is productive. A person can also remain constantly busy because stillness makes certain thoughts impossible to avoid. The same behavior can serve two purposes. Writing may build a body of work. Writing may also help you avoid grief. Training may strengthen the body. Training may also silence loneliness temporarily. Studying may prepare you for the future. Studying may also protect you from looking directly at the present. Building a business may create sovereignty. Building may also become a way to prove that you are still valuable after someone leaves. Productivity can become anesthesia, and productive avoidance is harder to recognize than ordinary avoidance because it improves the visible structure of your life. You are not lying in bed doing nothing. You are creating, you are learning, you are training, you are moving. Other people may even admire the discipline, but the machinery can still be carrying pain that has never been examined. For me, some of what rises in stillness is relational. The thought of someone I once loved being with someone else. The feeling of being replaced. The loneliness that appears when there is no one beside me. But beneath even that is another layer. The apartment, my health, money. The possibility of losing this ability I currently have. The memory of homelessness, the fear that everything I am constructing could fall apart faster than I can build it. These are not small thoughts, and movement can temporarily make them quieter, but quiet is not the same as resolve. That does not mean I should stop writing, training, studying, or building. It means I cannot allow accomplishment to become a hiding place. The purpose of discipline is not to create a life so loud that I can no longer hear myself. The purpose is to become strong enough to hear what is there without me being ruled by it. The body knows when you are escaping. The body often exposes avoidance before the mind admits it. You become restless when the room gets quiet. You suddenly reach for the phone, you feel the need to play music, you think of someone to call, you manufacture another task, you begin researching a problem that does not need to be addressed tonight. You tell yourself you are being productive, but the timing reveals something. Why did the need for stimulation appear precisely when an uncomfortable thought arrived? That is not a reason to condemn yourself, it is a reason to become curious. Ask, what feeling appeared immediately before I reached for distraction? What thought did I convert into work? What am I afraid will happen if I remain still for another 10 minutes? Am I acting from direction or escaping through motion? The answer may not always be one or the other. Human motives are rarely that clean. You can love the work and use it defensively at the same time. You can be called toward a vision and still use that vision to avoid pain. You can build from purpose and fear simultaneously. The objective is not to achieve perfectly pure motivation. It is to understand what forces are operating inside you so they do not control the system invisibly. What remains unexamined does not disappear. It recruits your behavior without your permission. Attention is a border. A conversation can change your internal state for hours. Someone can call about one subject and slowly move into another. A harmless conversation becomes gossip. Gossip becomes comparison. Comparison reopens an emotional wound. Then the call ends, but the caller does not carry the residue. You do. The residue follows you into your work. It changes what you think about while driving. It alerts your concentration while studying. It occupies the silence when you attempt to sleep. That is a cost. People do not have to be malicious to become expensive. An interruption can be friendly and still be costly. A conversation can be entertaining and still move you farther from your work. This does not mean every person who is not building beside you is useless. It means access to your attention cannot remain unlimited. You have things to write, things to study, things to build, things to train, things to become. You cannot treat every incoming call as more important than the life you are attempting to construct. Attention is not merely psychological, it is economical. Every hour carries an opportunity cost. Every conversation purchases something with your time. The question is whether you consciously authorize the transaction. Protecting your attention is not hostility. It is stewardship. Protecting your attention is not hostility. It is stewardship. You can care about someone without giving them unlimited access. You can answer a call without surrendering the evening. You can end a conversation when it becomes destructive. You can refuse information that serves no constructive role in your future. Every open line in your life is also an open line into your nervous system. Guard the ports. Evening is for interpretation. As the day closes, the order should reverse. Slow down, become observant, study the thoughts that surfaced, read, research, write, examine the decisions you made and the results they produced. Ask, what worked today? What created unnecessary friction? What did I avoid? What did I misunderstand? Where did my body signal fear, fatigue, hunger, tension, urgency, or clarity? Which signals were useful? Which signals were distorted? What deserves to be repeated? What needs to be corrected before tomorrow? But do not ask only performance questions. Do not reduce your entire inner life to productivity metrics. Also ask, what did I feel today that I immediately converted into work? What thought followed me even while I was busy? What am I still grieving? What am I trying to prove? What part of my ambition is love for the future? What part is fear of returning to the past? What would remain of my identity if I could not produce for a week? Those questions do not weaken ambition. They purify it. Reflection should not become an escape from action, but action should not become an escape from reflection. Action creates experience. Reflection converts experience into instruction. Correction converts instruction into evolution. As bedtime approaches, move from analysis into silence. Do not carry every unresolved problem into sleep as an emergency. Give the mind a precise question. Write what you know. Identify what remains uncertain. Then release what cannot be settled tonight. For the believer, add prayer. Place God, the work you completed. Place before God the work you completed, the errors you recognized, the pain you are carrying, the direction you seek, and the circumstances you cannot control. Prayer should not replace responsibility. It should place responsibility inside reverence. Do the work available to you. Ask for wisdom beyond you. Then rest. When morning returns, trust the preparation. Act again. The daily order is morning is for command. Act before unnecessary negotiation begins. Do something difficult. Move your body. Create before consuming. Direct the first hour toward the life you are building. The day is for contact. Work, study, test, speak, build. Let movement generate evidence. Remain present enough to notice what your body, environment, emotions, and results are communicating. Evening is for interpretation. Slow down. Read. Write. Study the consequences. Separate useful signals from emotional noise. Extract the lesson. Face what movement helped you avoid. Design tomorrow's correction. Night is for release. Inner silence. Pray. Give your mind a precise question instead of an undefined storm. Release what cannot be resolved tonight. Sleep. Tomorrow is for refinement. Wake up. Trust the work. Act again. Do not let movement hide you from yourself. Thought and action are not enemies. They are partners with different assignments. Action creates contact with reality. Thought interprets the contact. Reflection extracts meaning. Correction changes the next action. Repetition builds instinct. But none of this works if action becomes a permanent escape route from your own interior life. The objective is not to think less, it is to think in the correct order. Do not spend the morning pondering what yesterday already taught you. Do not spend the evening escaping what today revealed. Move before friction. Observe while moving. Reflect before repeating. Correct before continuing. And when the room becomes quiet, do not immediately run. Listen. The discomfort may not be an enemy interrupting your progress. It may be information from a part of you that your progress has not yet reached. That's all I got for you right now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll be back very, very soon. I will see you again. You have a very great day. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Deuces.